In this video, we're going to be memorizing Galatians chapter 1, verse 3. Let's read through it. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Now you can see I've left verse 2 on the screen for reference. We'll refer to that a few times as we're going through this video. So first of all, we want to look at the words being used. If we look at that first line in verse 3, we have the words grace and peace. Grace to you and peace. And the reason that I've highlighted these two words in particular is because they are words that we could say bring us peace or bring us comfort. But in particular, they are from God. They are things that are from God, as we will see in that second line. The next thing I want to look at is the second word in that sentence, to. And we can see if we go back to verse 2 has the line, to the churches of Galatia. And we know that Paul is writing to the churches of Galatia. But then we also can see grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. So even though Paul is writing to the Galatians, one of the first things that he says is a greeting from God. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And as I mentioned, we've already seen that word to being clearly that this letter is being addressed to the churches of Galatia. Now, as I just mentioned, the third word in that first line, the word you, is referring to the churches of Galatia. So that's who this letter is being written to. You'll also notice as well that there is the word our. So in the first line, we've got the word you, and then in the second line, we've got the word our. The first word is kind of exclusive of the writer, and the second word is inclusive of the writer. But who is our referring to? It's clearly referring to the Galatians, they're being included, but it's also referring to all the brothers who are with Paul as well as Paul. And that's what we saw in verse 2. Verse 2 reads, and all the brothers who are with me, to the churches of Galatia. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And we also have reference to God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And both God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ have already been referenced in verse 1, but then also there will be some further references as well. You can see, as I've just indicated as well, there is a comma at the end of that second line, meaning that verse 4 continues the sentence that verse 3 begins. And that sentence actually ends in verse 5. So this particular sentence is 3 verses long. As we've been doing in other videos, what we're going to do now is to write out the verse by first letter, keeping the punctuation and the capitalization. And then we're going to try and recite the verse looking at those first letters. All right, so let's just read through the verse one more time and then we'll use the first letters. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, now try and recite the verse looking at those first letters. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, we're now going to remove all of the color and extra text and just focus on the verse. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And we are going to go just to the first letters now, so let's practice that again. Try and recite that by looking only at the screen. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Now this is a short verse, so hopefully this is not too much more difficult than the previous slide, but try and recite the verse again. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, that brings us to this slide where we're actually going to compile the first 3 verses from Galatians chapter 1 that we've been learning. We've learned the other 2 in previous videos. So try and recite those 3 verses all together if you can. Let's read it together. Paul, an apostle, not from men, nor through man, but through Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead, and all the brothers who are with me, to the churches of Galatia. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video, and in the next video, we'll be going through verse 4.